Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the market close. We got a red day. Holy banana bread. What can I say? Having a good month, but not so much today. There's a few different drivers, of course, going on. South of the border. Everybody's worried about this thing called the big beautiful bill. The big beautiful bill is looking to try to get passed, and right now, it's not looking like it's going to pass. So that's got people a little bit concerned. And well, honestly, I I kind of hope it doesn't pass because it's a it's a bill that's going to hurt a lot of folks down in the states for sure. A lot of people are going to get cut off from Medicaid as part of the cuts in that bill. So gotta say, gotta say. Holy banana bread. That's what I'm going to say. Let's jump into the market. Let's take a look, see how things are going, and we will start with the TSX. Oh boy, I got things a little small. Let's make things a little bigger. Let's make it a little bigger. There we go. TSX, as you can see, definitely in a downtrend today. It's definitely red. It's definitely red. We got a little bit of green to end the day. So we'll see. We'll see if that rally can turn into anything. But on the month, look at this. This is beautiful. We're doing really, really, really well. So you gotta love that. You gotta love that. But today, red day down 0.75%. S&P 500, same story, down 1.48%. NASDAQ, here we go. It's the same story. Once again, it's almost like it's coming out of the same script. Other than, look at this. They really didn't have that big up. They didn't have that big. They had it all at once at the beginning. We had more of a steady stream when you looked at the TSX. Dow Jones down 1.81. So they've cut their distance from the blue line in half. So what can I say? I got nothing to say. The Russell, oh, look at them. That's quite the candle, but they're well above their blue line. So, I have a feeling, I'm not going to call it as a green month yet, but the second half of this month needs to be really, well, not even the second half. I guess it's the last third. It's already the 21st. I can't believe it. It's going to be June before you know it. Holy cow. Commodities. We got gold up today, up 0.98. Silver up 1.38. Oil is looking interesting right now. So WTI, I think right here. Let's pull it up. So right now, oil's down about 0.84%. But, oh boy, we could be in for a geopolitical catalyst. Now, I don't know how much I want to put behind it, but according to CNN, they said that Israel's planning to attack Iran. It looks like, and not just some simple attack. We're talking attacking their nuclear sites. If that happens, oh boy. Let me just say, Rory, I think you're here. You do not want to be an HOD if that happens, because that could potentially be a catalyst for the price of oil. So definitely something, if you're playing oil, something to pay attention to. Now, Bitcoin. Oh boy. Bitcoin right now sitting at 108,000. Bitcoin almost. Well, look. Right up here, 109,000, almost 110,000, new all-time high. Bitcoin having a good week. Yeah. What can I say? If you're invested in crypto, you're having some good days. You're having some good days for sure. I imagine if we look at strategy, and we'll look at them a little later. I imagine they're doing really, really well because of this. All right, let's move away from the charts and head over to the heat maps. Here is our Canadian heat map. We got some red. We definitely got some red. There's a few little odd bits of green in here. Well, you're not energy minerals doing really well, but look at this technology. Technology is in the dumper. Constellation software down. Oh boy, 3.26%. We got transportation down. So CNR's down a bit. CP is down a bit as well. Oh boy. Torlamine, this is kind of a positive one. Look at this. Torlamine up 1.73%. And keep in mind, any of these oil stocks, if we do get, if Israel attacks Iran, you're gonna have some movement. You will have some movement, and you might even get to a point like if it's a short. And here's the thing: if it's a short-lived conflict, let's say we do have it, oil's gonna go up. Everything associated with oil will go up, but on the other side of it, once it is resolved, and if it's a short conflict, things will come back down. So you got to keep that in mind, because that might mean that there's some profit taking spots ahead if that happens. But we're gonna see. Let's look south of the border. Oh boy. Oh man, look at this. This is all red except for Google. Google's doing something that nobody else is doing. I believe there was some kind of, I think there was some AI news as well with Google that dropped over the last day. But other than that, look at this. NVIDIA down 1.5, Apple down 2.35, Walmart down 1.28, Tesla down, Eli Lilly. Oh boy. Yeah, definitely a lot of red on the US side. And then heading into crypto's looking pretty good. We got Bitcoin up today, 1.27, Ethereum up a tiny bit. Dogecoin having a pretty good day, up 2.91. So gotta love it. You gotta love it. Now, there are quite literally about 15,000 of these altcoins out there, and we're having a green day. So let's look at some random red one that I've never heard of. Let's pick on this one. What is this? W coin. Holy banana bread. I don't know what W coin is. I think it's the one that comes after V coin, but I'm not sure. So yeah, W coin, who knows what it does? Who knows why it exists? It's worth 0.04 of a penny. So it's not worth much. Guys, I call these things crap coins for a reason. Stay away from them unless you know what they do. Read the white paper, do your due diligence, and then do it again. Quite literally, don't just jump in on these. Crypto, there's a lot of money to be made, but stick to the tried and true. Stick to your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana, and even the old Dogecoin. Avoid those crap coins unless you know what you're doing, because you can get wrecked. You can get wrecked really, really easy. All right. Holy banana bread. We got 7 minutes to the bell, and we got a lot going on. First of all, let's go big. Jim, going to miss this. Work is just slammed. Oh, Jim. Well, you can always watch it on the replay, Jim. You can watch it on the replay, and hopefully you're making the money. That's what I'm going to say. We're going to take that away. Jim is making the money. So that's good. Paul says, blame the 20-year USA bond auction at 5.1% for today's dip. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. That is obviously another factor as well. And that, maybe that's impacting the market more than that fear that's going on over that big, beautiful bill. We get a Verena in the house with a good afternoon. And McEagle is saying, I'm wondering if this is the inflection point in the market that some were predicting. I'll give you a simple answer. Probably not. And the Nightbot's back. The Nightbot is back. So, telling you guys the dealio when it comes to a Friday show. All right. Ricardo says, good afternoon. What a bloody day here in the U.S. Yes. Yeah. Not good. But, well, this could be not so much an inflection point as McEagle was talking about, but things could get really, really interesting. Because as I mentioned a little while ago, there is there's some black swan events that are brewing. Some black swan events that are brewing. One is what's going on with Congress. That's not a big black swan, but it is a black swan. So if that bill dies, it's a spending bill. Like it could be interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. Now, the other one, of course, is what the heck is going on with Israel? Is Israel going to attack Iran's nuclear sites? That's pretty big. There's other stuff, of course, too. The whole fact that the U.S. is pretty much going to step back from the war between Russia and Ukraine. Trump had a 2.5-hour phone call with his buddy Putin, and that's kind of what we got from it. Trump made it sound positive. Putin made it like whatever, and it's somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle for sure. Rory says, afternoon, watched U.S. 10-year yield bond rates go nutty today. Looking at ETFs becoming on sale in the near future. It could be very interesting. I mean, the market has been so calm this month up to now. So this is kind of interesting. I was hoping we would get through the whole month with some calm, just a chance to regroup, to recatch our breath. But nope, it does not look that way. And we've got, guys, we have basically 3 minutes, 10 seconds to the bell. The bell's a little loud. So if you're watching or listening to this with your earbuds and you don't like the loud noises, I'll try to give a 10-second warning. But yeah, just pull them out. Just pull them out or turn the volume down when that happens. But we got we a little less than 3 minutes. All right, Paul says tiny recovery in the last 30 minutes in strategy and Tesla. Nice. Now, let's just take a quick gander here. I am curious here. I'm pretty sure I've got strategy up here somewhere. Here we are. Yeah, let's take a look. Oh boy. Oh yeah, they came down quite a ways today. Look at that. That's quite a fall, but that's a nice buildup. A nice buildup as crypto was exploding. But yeah, that's a big buildup. And yeah, you're right. Look at this. We do have a little bit of a green candle to end of the day with. Gotta like that. Let's see. Ricardo says wolf is murder and worse let's see. Wolf is murder and the worse it that I sold a cash secure put for strike $2 and it bottomed down today 66%. Yikes. Yeah. Oh, Rory, good. You're being smart. HOD, no way. I know how violent that reacts to Middle East violence. Yeah, absolutely. And at least until whatever's happening right now, once we get that under the belt, then we can then start looking at it. And Paul says a strategy followed Bitcoin, but no huge pump after bond issue. And NAV dropped from 1.9 to 1.838. Vic says less than 50%. Less than 50% have hit like. Only you can prevent forest fires and only you can hit the like button. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. I'm going to have some coffee here. And we got about 1 minute to the bell. Oh, so good. Coffee is really good right now because we're getting a cold week in Ontario. Like quite literally, a couple of nights ago, I was missing my warm duvet because I've switched to summer bedding. So I was just like, no, I did it too soon. Kiev and Cats in the house. Well, good afternoon, gang. And Roar saying, yep, better do it before Mary yells at us. There we go. And we got about 20 seconds until the bell. So that's your early warning. Your early warning for those with the holy banana bread. A hair. With the with those ears that are sensitive. The sensitive eared folk. All right, we're down to 5 seconds. All right, here we go, guys. The market's closed. Woo! There we go. Love it. Love it. Market's closed. Ah, the end of a red day, a bit of a bloodbath in the U.S. Not a mild bloodbath. I've seen much, much worse. All right. Paul says, look at STRK on NASDAQ. Apparently, since issuance has outperformed the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, and maybe not today's Bitcoin pump. STRK. Let me see if I can pull that. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Let me see if I can find that here. STR. Whoa. All right. It helps if I'm actually in. STRK. Here we go. So MicroStrategy Incorporated. Let's pull it up. All right. And let's take a gander here. All right. So yeah. Oh yeah. Look, it's doing interesting here. Why do I have this little thing here on the bottom? I do not know why I have a little thing on the bottom with STRK, but I do. I seem to have this extra little screen. That's not on everybody. Hopefully it's not. Oh, it is. Somehow I picked up an extra screen. There we go. Minus. It's gone. Okay. Vic, let's get back to the ST. There we go. Now we can see it better. Look at this. Yeah. I mean, this is nice performance. Nice performance for sure. Yeah, I can't complain. Vic is saying, yeah, cheer for the Oilers. So as the weekend, what can I say? We lost Winnipeg. We lost Toronto too, but we lost Winnipeg. All we have left is Edmonton. So Edmonton is now Team Canada. So let's, yeah, guys, unless you absolutely can't, but let's cheer for the Oilers. Let's bring the cup home. Let's bring the cup back to Canada. Holy banana bread. I will be absolutely cheering for the Oilers. Absolutely. No hands, ifs, or buts about it. Oh, I have this new function now. I'm going to turn it on and see what it does. I don't know what it does. I don't know if it works or not. It's a show comments on the stage. I've just turned it on. Let's see what it does. All right. McEagle says, if there is another short-lived war in the Middle East, what are defense stocks to look at? Any Canadian ones? Well, there is that ETF. Oh my God, which one was it? It was that I know I looked at it. I looked at it in a recent video, but there is that one that does do defense. I think it's called SHLD, if I remember correctly. Well, let's find out. SHLD, I believe. All right. Oh, there's Blossom. There's the Discord. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm actually looking for where the, oh, how did you get all the way over there? All right. SHLD. Yeah, the Global X Defense Tech Index ETF. So this is one thing that I think would be a good bet because, you know, you're going to get a wider view. Like they invest in everything from Palantir to pretty much all of your main defense stocks. So yeah, this would be something that could very well benefit if we do get a conflict over there. So that's one that I would think of, obviously. And if you're looking for American ones, just go to the Global X website and take a look at what this ETF is holding, and it will, like I said, it will have ones like Palantir. It'll have a lot of the more defensive, not defensive as in defensive investing, but defensive as in military type stocks. All right, Brian says, "Good afternoon." Oh, I see what it does. I see on the screen the live chat is coming up on the side. Okay, that's what that does. All right, now I'll turn that off because I'm way behind. But that is interesting. If we want to do that, we now can do that. So that's pretty darn cool. All right, Ricardo. Oh, sorry. First of all, Brian says, "Good afternoon, everyone." Hello, Brian. Good to see you. Ricardo, if the bill dies, then that's bullish. But if it passes, they secure the recession, in my opinion. Yeah, it's not a good bill. I do not. I hope the bill fails. I hope it fails. And I know there are some Republicans because they don't, I mean, in the House, they don't have a huge margin. So if you, all it takes is a couple of Republicans just sort of say, no, this is crazy. And that will kill the bill. And that's kind of what we're looking at. I know I was looking on, I think it was on Kimmel or something. They were showing just a couple. Like there was one guy from Texas, a Republican, who was gun ho on the bill, and then there was one in New York saying, "There's no way this bill is passing. There's no way I'm going to let this pass." So I think it could fail. Oh, I think it could fail. Funny Books says, "Hello, all. Hey, Funny Books, good to see you." Kenneth says, "What's going on today? Why all down? Only heard on Target News." Yeah, so we got, like I said, there's a few things. We got the whole big, beautiful bill drama happening in the House down in the United States. We've got a potential war about to break out between Israel and Iran. Well, we won't call it a war initially. Basically, it's being reported that Israel is in the process of planning an attack on Israel's nuclear capabilities. On Iran's nuclear capabilities. It could be interesting. It could be very interesting. Paul says, "Wonder G." Let's see. AA says, "Middle East again? What's going on there?" I guess I missed the news. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, though, guys. Keep in mind. Israel has not done anything yet. This has been news, and sometimes the news gets it wrong. Donald calls it fake news. Well, sometimes the news gets it wrong. I hope they're wrong. I certainly would like to see things calm out a little bit more in the Middle East for sure. Cowboy is in the house. Afternoon all. Hello, Cowboy. And Paul says, "I wonder how many thought strategy would pump today and bought a 2x strategy ETF. I hope not." There's probably people who did that. I think there probably is. Yeah. Oh, and I do want to, I'm going to say it right now, because if I don't say it, when I come up with a title for one of the market closes, it's usually one small little news story that I want to bring up. But 9 times out of 10, I forget to bring it up. I know we had one where I think I labeled it something about the possible postal strike, and we never even talked about it. So I'm like, oh boy. So yeah, today I was talking about infrastructure. There was a story that has broke today about the CPP Investment Board. So those are the guys that invest all the money that goes into Canada Pension, and they're really starting to look at something. And that something is infrastructure. They're looking at Canadian infrastructure because with all of the with governments, provincial and federal, all looking to build, that's an area where there's a lot of money coming in. And another reason I wanted to sort of highlight that little story is that the next video coming out for Friday has an infrastructure type. It is infrastructure. It's about infrastructure, but it's a deep dive on a company that I love, and I can't believe I have not actually done a deep dive on them before. So I'm going to let you guys guess and see if one of you guys can guess what company I'm doing next. It'll be interesting. All right, now I got to get caught up so that I can see. Otherwise, you'll make a guess, and then 10 minutes later, I'll say, "Oh no, it's not that company." All right. Bleak is in the house with a hi. Vic says, "Also have a drink for Norm from." Oh yeah. Poor Norm. He went through the pearly gates yesterday. Apparently, everyone up there yelled Norm, but yeah, no, I mean, yeah. That's sad. It's sad. But yeah, yikes. Let's see. Ricardo says, "Go Dallas Star, baby. Keep it in the U.S." Oh, Ricardo, you're gonna get some hisses and some boos from folks here. All right. And Ricardo's mentioning with defensive stocks, RTX, LMT, LHX, Kratos. Yeah, there we go. There's definitely some good ones too. And I know with and here Ricardo is talking about ESP. I know that I know he loves that one. So yeah, there are definitely some really, really, really good ones for sure. All right. R.I.P. George Went. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we got our first super. We got our first super here coming in from Paul. That means that Paul, well, Paul is our, and I just scrolled right past my goats. There we go. Paul is the goat. I got it. All right. I'm happy. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much, Paul. Case. I don't know what you're asking. All right, let's see. On the YouTube, on the TV YouTube app, people can turn on the live chat themselves if they want. Oh, can they? Well, that's pretty darn cool. I like it. Rory says utilities in my portfolio jumped today. Yeah. I mean, I'm very bullish on that utility sector, and definitely, absolutely. Rory says, an associate of mine is in Dubai today. I wonder if I could get info from the local businesses working in the UAE. Interesting. Brian says, I had dividend money burning a hole in my US RRSP account, bought 14 shares of QQQI at 10 minutes before the bell. Nice. All right. Rory says, an associate I work with is in Dubai for a bit. I wonder if he could get inside info on what Israel intends to do. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting to know. But I have a feeling that if Israel's planning an attack, they're probably not putting signs up or letting. I think very few people have probably the actual lowdown on what's going to happen. It's interesting enough. I probably wouldn't even tell Trump if I was Israel, just because you could be getting ready for your attack, and then Trump could truth it out. It's like, no. Paul says, getting more Google opinion surveys since gradual return to work last week. Last week, 2 and 4 and 4 hour Monday and 4 hours on Saturday. My feet are still getting used to walking 6,000. Is that how many steps you take? I guess, I mean, if you're in retail, that's all it is. I remember retail and fast food from when I was a teenager. There was that old saying, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean. I I still hate that. Nick Eagle says, I made an interesting move today. I took profits from all my stocks this morning. Then the market crash. Good move? It depends. Depends on what you do with it, right? It can be. I mean, yeah, if you it's kind of one of these things. It depends on like your goal. Like, for example, if you're a long-term investor, then you probably don't want to be messing around a lot like that. And that's probably for the better. But there's nothing wrong with taking some plays. And I certainly do that quite a bit. And you'll see that as we keep progressing through the 0 to 100K challenge, is that I'll pull stuff out of things when they're high. For example, Brookfield Asset Management. They were very, very high a couple of months ago, and I sold out of the position. Still love the company. Once we get into a recession, I will be buying back in. But there's never a bad time to take profits off the table. There really isn't. Now, the one thing I would say though is just be careful, especially if you're doing this in a TFSA. Once you sell a stock, you don't want to buy it back within 30 days. So let's be a little careful. Cowboy says, spent my dividend cash on IFE and DFN monthly money. There we go. DFN, a split core. Vic says, Goose did good. Canada Goose. Let's take a look. I think you're talking about Canada Goose. Here we are. GOOS. All right. Oh boy. Yeah. Understatement, Vic. Look at that. Not bad. From 1243 to 1479. I'm going to assume, and let's take a look. Let's pull them up over here. GOOS. I'm going to assume that's fine. I grabbed the New York one. Who cares? It's all the same. Yeah, here we go. Earnings. So yeah, they had. Look at this. Look at this. These are good earnings. So they're on their earnings. They beat it by 42.69%. Holy banana bread. That's fantastic. And their revenue they also beat expectations by 8.32%. So yeah, definitely a really good job for Goose. Really good day. Really good day. Actas says, did I miss a market crash today? I wouldn't call it a crash. We had a red day. We had a red day after a pretty strong green day. And yeah, there were drivers there. Not a real crash, just a bit of a red day. So yeah, I wouldn't call it a crash. Some people might call it a crash. Not me. I don't think it was a crash. Brian, oh boy. Let's grab some coffee. Oh, love the coffee. Brian says Israel should tell Trump all the details will be on Signal within minutes. Also available on Truth Social at 1 a.m. Exactly. It's funny. I wonder how many people who are not members of Truth Social go to Truth Social regularly just to see what craziness he's going to truth out next. I'm in that boat. I'm just glad that I don't have to sign up for Truth Social to actually, read his truths. All right, Rory. Let's see. We're going to see Tehran under missile attack at 1 a.m. Haha, no idea what time it is over there at the moment. So yeah, what is the difference? Is it 8 hours? Does somebody know? I thought it was like 8. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I thought for some reason 8 hours pops into my head, but it's, somebody might know. All right. Paul says, today is just noise. Give it a week and you will not remember it. Exactly. That's actually a really good word for it. Noise. Absolutely. Vic said, but Canada Goose also didn't provide guidance, so I'm surprised by its rise. Even without guidance, when you look at how much they beat expectations, it's not that surprising. All right. Due to tariffs. Those tariffs. Yep. And it's funny. Nobody's really thinking about them anymore. Like, tariffs are in place. And it's really interesting too. Another thing too, that we had our CPI come out this week, and inflation 1.7%. But you got to remember what happened last month. Carney got rid of the carbon tax, so that brought the cost of fuel down big time. So even though we had a wonderful looking inflation read, it's not as good as it really is, because you got to take into consideration that carbon tax pretty much skewed it down big time. So you got to love it. Let's see. Vic says 1:30 in Newfoundland. 1:30. No, it's late. It's later. It's later in the day in Newfoundland. Right now, what is it? 4:19 here. So 5:19, and then they have this half hour thing. So what is it? 5:49 in Newfoundland. Brian, Says, I refuse to go to Truth Social. I don't want any favorable member numbers for this platform. Fair enough. Fair enough. Honestly, you can just look on the internet and usually find people reposting pictures of his truths anyway, so you can see them without actually having to go there. Paul says 11:48 in Iran right now. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's pretty late. Yeah, we got to say, and you never know. I mean, like I said, Iran has not confirmed anything. This is just I saw it on CNN. I don't know where they got the sources from. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Maybe it's going to turn into a giant nothing burger. We don't know yet. We just don't know. Lisa's in the house with a hello, everyone. And Rory says, let's see, Newfoundland is goofy. Always off by 30 minutes. Yes. I think, I mean, it's funny. I mean, I love people from Newfoundland. They're just so much fun. They're a lot of fun. They get that spirit. It's like, you know, coming from the Maritimes, well, we're pretty fun. Most Maritimers are pretty darn fun. You know, we have a way of life. Then, if you take our way of life and you pump it up a little bit, that's Newfoundland. That's Newfoundland for you. Newfoundland, 30 minutes, same as Iran. The world ends at midnight, 12:30 in Newfoundland. Yeah, they get into the next day. Yeah, there we go. Oh boy. Oh boy. What can I say? Cowboy says, oh yeah, Carnage, the economist who can't produce a budget. Great choice, eh? Oh boy. Well, this is the thing. Right now, I need to see, and I've said this. I've said this. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I need to see. You know, they've talked the talk. Let's see them walk the walk. You know, and I'll go back to Dougie. You know, he's got bills. He's actually got bills underway to actually walk the walk when it comes to infrastructure and housing and everything in Ontario, at least. So I'm pretty optimistic, and I think the Liberals have to know, if they do not walk the walk on this, there's 0% chance they can get in. They can, they'll get reelected. And if they don't walk the walk, there's a good chance that everybody could team up and vote in non-confidence. Nobody's going to do it right away. Nobody wants an election, like, even in the first year. But, things can happen. Things can happen. Rory says, isn't the Liberal Party creating a reform to remove Carney or any other PM from office? No idea. I haven't heard anything on that, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just haven't heard anything. Paul says, Newfies are 2 times the fun versus New Brunswick or Nova Scotia. Yeah, exactly. They're a lot more fun. they're it's, I think it's like, I think a lot of it is, you got to keep in mind too, it's sort of like comparing Ireland to Scotland, right? Because Newfoundland, heavy Irish descendants, whereas Nova Scotia, Nova Scotia, we got a good amount of Irish, but we also got a lot of Scottish too. So I think that's calmed us down a little bit. And with New Brunswick, well, New Brunswick's an interesting province, right? Because you got the regular maritime stuff going on, but you kind of got that influence of Quebec as well. There's a lot more French in New Brunswick. I would say New Brunswick's probably the second closest the closest province to being fully bilingual, like Quebec. I'm not saying everybody in New Brunswick speaks both English and French, but I think there's a lot of bilingualism. Absolutely. Brian says, the more Newfies drink, the more you need to translate their language. I know a lot of them. Fair enough. That is fair enough. It's funny. It's funny. Yeah. Normally, normally if they get excited or drunk, then it's hard it is hard to understand. Well, if you haven't been around their accent that long, but I've heard it. I mean, I've heard it most of my life. So I think I'm pretty good, but there's probably a certain amount of drinkage that I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna like I lost the thread. I've lost the thread. Rory says Ireland. Yeah, it's mine. My island. All right. Rory is now the official king of Ireland. Your Highness. Your Highness. Hmm. And here's a great question. So Paul says, why isn't PEI Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, just one province? They have so little population and size. PEI would be like Vancouver Island, less government needed. I've thought this like most of my life. I've been thinking like, why, why, why do we have three provinces there? Now, obviously, the reason that we do is because of Confederation and when each province came in. But really, I would be for a merger of the three provinces: New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI. You call it, I don't care, call it Acadia or the Maritimes or something. I think that would make a lot of sense, and it would also give them a stronger voice in the House of Commons. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Maybe not all Maritimers think it's a great idea, but I like it. I do like that as an idea. Quebec isn't bilingual. Doesn't Bill 101 ban English in public? I don't know about Bill 101, but oh boy, the language police have been out in full force in Quebec. I've heard some interesting stories. I've definitely heard interesting stories of some of the craziness that the language police have done. There was one shop. Now the people who run the shop fully bilingual. Everything is mostly in French, but their English customers tended to be the ones that would go to Instagram. So their Instagram, they did that in English because that's where their English customers seem to prefer to go. The language police found out, and they came in and was like, nope, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna do that. So I was just kind of like, oh boy, they're even policing. They're even policing the internet. So yeah, and I've also heard other stories like where with stores, one of the signage issues in Quebec is that the French name of the store and the French or name description, whatever is on the sign, has to be bigger than the English. And when you're looking at something like, well, Canadian Tire, yeah, it would be kind of odd that they would have to sort of change up their logo to sort of meet those criteria. And that's also some of the issues I think that that there, issues when it comes to some of the trade considerations between the United States and Quebec. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's like I think there's ways that you can respect the language without going absolutely crazy about it. But I'm not a Quebecer, so I don't think I'm allowed to have an official opinion. I can have sort of a off the cuff opinion, and that's my off the cuff opinion. Let's see, isn't 101 the sign bill? And that's kind of what I was just talking about, the whole sign thing. So Rory says Quebec City is one place I don't need to visit. See, I would love to visit Quebec City. I mean, I may not speak Quebecois. I got a little bit of French, but it's more Parisian. So I can sometimes I can catch a little bit about what somebody might be saying, but if a Quebecer speaks to me like they would speak to a 3-year-old, I'm probably good. But no, I mean, Quebec City, I think, is beautiful. Montreal is one of my favorite cities. I love Montreal. So, but yeah, I mean, but you know what? I can understand why people would have this feelings for sure. Let's see. Brian says, I actually liked Quebec City, but wasn't a fan of much. There we go. Really? Let's see. The Winter Carnival was cool, pun intended. Yeah, exactly. You've got that that snowman guy thing. I don't know what his name is. Somebody might know what his name is, but yeah, I think the snowman guy looks pretty cool. But I love Montreal. Montreal is just it's so diverse. And I'm not talking like DEI diverse. I mean, just there's so much culture. There's so many really cool things within Montreal, and I love it. I personally love it. Downtown is cool. So much architecture. Like one of the interesting things. One of the architecture who made the Empire State Building. Well, he made a building in Montreal first that was almost like a miniature version of the Empire State Building. It's very, very cool. And once that building is pointed out to you and you look at it, you see it right away. It's really, really good. But anyway, yeah, I do love Montreal a lot. Paul says Quebec City has all the stonework in buildings. Nice, nice. Let's see. Roy says I don't know French, so Quebec wouldn't be so good. Here's the thing, though, and this has been my experience in Quebec. If you make an attempt, even if it's a dreadful attempt, most folks will be really good about it, and if they know English, they'll switch to English because they're not going to leave you suffer. But after having said that, if you go into Quebec and you don't make an attempt, you don't try, you just demand they switch to English immediately, well, you're not going to get such a rosy response. And in fact, you will. I've known people, I know people from Quebec, and they're like, if somebody does that to me, I will just pretend I don't know English at all. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Danielle says, I'm from Montreal. Most of us are bilingual. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in most of the big cities, you're going to get a lot of more bilingualism. Now, if you go out into rural Quebec, like, if you're up cruising around Rimouski, you're going to find people who are perhaps not very good with English at all, or maybe not even good at in any amount. So what can I say? Brian says in Quebec, they greet you at the door. Bonjour. I would say bonjour, and then they would say something in French. I'd say, sorry, that's all I got. They always laughed and spoke English to me. And that's the thing, yeah. Sometimes just as much as that bonjour. That's fantastic. Right. Let's see here. Paul says, my family were founders of Marieville in 1642, later became Montreal. Ooh, that's cool. That is cool. Let's see. Bon Homme be his name. Dorpat says, Quebec City was amazing. I speak Parisian French too, but you will understand them. Yeah. And it's actually really interesting. And I've told this story before on the channel, but I'll tell it again since we're talking about French. So I was pretty good in school at French. Pretty good. Now I was taking French in Nova Scotia. So when I first moved to Ottawa, I was thinking, I got a fair amount of French under my belt. I should be fine when I run into French people. And no, I was not. When I started hearing Québécois, because I had only, up to that point, I'd never heard Québécois per se. I just was like, I can't believe how bad I'm doing. I can't believe how bad my French is. And it wasn't until probably, I think I'd been in the city for about a year when a guy came up to me and started speaking to me in French, but I actually started understanding what he was saying. And I was just like, okay. So I had a conversation with him. Well, it turned out he was having trouble with Québécois because he was from France. At that point, it dawned on me. I'm like, okay, I was taught Parisian French in school. And that might be the case. I think Québécois, I mean, I think at the core it's Parisian, but then they have their own accent and all of their own slang. And you put all of that on top of it, and it's kind of like, well, it's like, I think if you went to school, let's say you don't speak English. So if you went to school, and this is how I compare it. If you went to school and you went to learn a little bit of English, and they taught you the Queen's English, or they taught you just straight up American English. Let's go with American English. It works better in this example. And then you got dropped into the middle of Ireland. Oh boy, you're probably going to struggle. You know, I mentioned I used Ireland for this example because, well, we have, we got the King of Ireland here, Rory. I think Rory, this might stick. You may be the King of Ireland for a while. So what can I say? Cowboy says PEI has 4 seats in Parliament for 180,000 population. How does that make sense? Yes. Good old, like I said, a Cowboy, and I think you'll probably agree. Merge the Maritimes, one province. Let's figure it all out. As it is, there is reform. Like, I think we need reform when it comes to our seat allocation. And I know at one point, I think it was Trudeau's government at one point had promised to reform things to more, what was it, representational proportional or something like that. But he never did. One of his promises that kind of disappeared. But I would like to see a little bit of a reform. Absolutely. All right. A bear coaster. Love it. Love it. Paul says, my wife speaks fluent French. Their family originally from Manitoba. Yeah, and there's like their own pockets. I know when I lived in Calgary, there was a little area, I believe it was in the south. I could be wrong, but there was a little area at the bottom of the city that there was like a little French area. But the same thing with Nova Scotia. We have the French shore. So and that's where most of the Acadians were before we did horrible things to them and sent them packing. But hey, they were fine. They made their way to Louisiana, and hey, they brought French there. So what can I say? Rory says, my island. I know. Let's see. I obviously got that from Braveheart. Nice. Let's see. Cowboy says, you need to speak Newfoundlandese in the jobs in Fort Mac. There we go. Well, it's interesting in the West. There's so many Maritimers, and I don't know if it's still that way, but for the longest time, it was. I know when I first moved to Calgary, I was just talking to some random girl that I met somewhere, and it turned out that she was from Halifax, and I was like, "What? What's the odds of that?" And not only that, it was like I used to have a job where I worked in group homes. So did she. We had the same supervisor. So I was just like, okay, definitely odd. But yeah, I think in the Maritimes, at least when I grew up, well, once I finished university, there was just no jobs. So a lot of young folk had to basically head to, well, where do we go? Calgary, Edmonton, places where there were jobs. So there's a huge, and I would still say there's probably still a pretty big maritime contingent out there that calls the West their home, for sure. Let's see. Brian says, are there that many out there, Cowboy? I knew a few from Ontario. And let's see. Rory says, early 2000s, lots of Maritimers in Alberta. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like Alberta. I actually enjoyed Calgary. Calgary was one of my favorite cities. I mean, I lived there twice. Actually, funny little story. I used to live on Halifax Crescent in Calgary. And I used to joke that I was probably the only person who was a Haligonian living on Halifax Crescent. And it's probably true. I don't know if anybody else from Halifax has ever lived on Halifax Crescent, but that was my little claim to fame. My claim to fame when I was living on Halifax Crescent. Cowboy. So let's see, not as many as in the early 2000s. So, okay, that's fair enough. I think, yeah, I think I've heard of some that have been returning home. It's a weird thing. You may not get this if you're not a Maritimer, but Maritimers have this thing. It's like Star Trek. You know how Mr. Spock had to return to Vulcan to do some kind of weird mating thing every so often? Well, I can't even remember what it was called. The van, no, there was a word for it. But anyway, it's like that with Maritimers. It's like the longer you're away from the Maritimers, it starts to call at you, starts to want to pull you there. So yeah, it happens. It happens. Let's see. Paul says Alberta keeps saying they pay the most into CPP, but collect the lease in retirement. They forget people work in Alberta and retire somewhere else. Well, that's true. That is true. Absolutely. Let's see. You sound like you were a military brat. Yes and no. Yes and no. So yeah, I mean, growing up, I grew up mostly in Nova Scotia. Although my mom had started dating a guy, and they moved in together, and he was in the military. So we got sent to Kingston. So that was the only military one. We got sent to Kingston. So we lived in Kingston, Ontario for a bit. Then he got out of the military, and they all moved back. And I moved back, but then I eventually decided I moved back to Kingston after that because I had friends there. But yeah, all of my other travels have just been I've gone where the work has been for the most part. And sometimes I would move to a place like that. Well, I've never lived in before. So yeah, I mean, I've lived in well, we'll start from the East Coast. Of course, I've lived in the Maritimes, so Halifax and all those little areas around there. Ottawa, Kingston, Toronto, Calgary, Kelowna, and Vancouver. There we go. Those are the big cities that I lived in. Now, I did spend a big chunk of time in Florida once, but I don't really. It was temporary. That was a temporary thing, so I don't really look at that as being living there, even though I was there for what was I there? Maybe 4 months. But anyway, that's another story altogether. Rory says, so I'm hoping for a drawdown in stocks ETFs the rest of the week. Looking into limit orders XEQT. Am I and up? Yeah. Well, it would be nice to get some dip, another bit of a dip. Now I've done most of my buying for the month. So I don't have a lot left to allocate, but there's a little bit still. I hear you. So anyway, all right, guys, we're getting close to the end. If you got your last minute questions, get them all together. In regards to a Friday show, we did have one super, so we're 3 away. So we either 3 supers or heck, or even gifted memberships, whatever. Will get us a Friday show. But anyway, that's not the question. The question is final comments, your final questions, all of that fun stuff. I'm gonna have myself a little bit of hey, nobody guessed yet what company I'm going to be deep diving. A company with an infrastructure connection that I'm going to be deep diving on Friday. Paul says, we had a neighbor who returned to New Brunswick for retirement. We are in the BC Lower Mainland. I am guessing they sold their townhouse and bought a house in New Brunswick and probably had cash left. No doubt. I think a lot of times too is if you are retiring, it makes sense. It makes sense to head back home because although I gotta say, I think the property values in Halifax now are they're getting up there. For sure. Rory, no postal strike tomorrow. Delayed. What I heard is that they said they would be willing to pause. So the union said they'd be willing to pause the strike, provided they get a deal that they can review. So, they're gonna. That sounds to me, and I think a deal dropped today. Not a deal, but at least a proposal. I think a proposal dropped today, so they'll review it. So yeah, that's good. That means they want to. Now, if the proposal is absolutely not what they're looking for, and they can sell right away, then it could be a short pause. But Yeah, there is the potential of a pause. Let's see. Cowboy says in the 2011 was working in Fort Mac union gigs, paid CPP out 3 times. Okay, fair enough. Enbridge. No, it is not Enbridge. Fortis. It is not Fortis. BIP. No, no, it is not Brookfield. That's Brookfield Infrastructure. But Cowboy, it does start with a B. The ticker does start with a B. So there you guys go. It should be easy now. A company that builds stuff. Paul says, I am moving back to Prince George, BC or Windsor, Ontario to go home in retirement. Let's see, deal with 6% year, 12 year, 2.2 year 3. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay. Rory, yes, Bird Construction. I am finally doing a deep dive on Bird Construction, and I like Bird Construction. And I will tell you guys right now, after deep diving into their fundamentals, I think I like them more. I think I like them even more. But you'll have to check out that deep dive. Channel members, you'll be able to see that tomorrow afternoon. So that unless something crazy happens, you'll be able to see it tomorrow afternoon. Ricardo says, anybody knows more info into United Health short report that's causing the drop now? I've didn't even know there was a short report. So that's the first. This is the first I'm hearing about it for United Health. But what are they? Are they following big time in after hours? Oh, I still have it up. I can't believe I still have it up. All right, let's take a gander here. I know I don't have them in here. UNH. Here we go. United Health. Let's add United Health. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. All right, let's see. Oh, they're not that down. They're not down that much. They're down a little bit, like about 8. Let's see here. Oh, this might be it right here. Look at this. Whoops, where'd it go? Apparently they got downgraded. Where the heck is it was right there. Here it is. Yeah, so United Health Group shares dropped over 6% after HSBC downgraded its rating and cut the price target. Concerns arose from reports of payments to nursing homes. Okay, so yeah, I think that's what's going on. This is one of these reasons I love TradingView. You know, you can do this with the free version. You don't need a paid version. You can just type in whatever ticker you want, and you'll get all of the news there as well. So that gives you a really good idea of what is going on. All right, Brian, let's go back to big me for a bit. Brian says, I had wanted to buy Bird for years. Dividend was too low. I knew guys that worked for them. Well, their dividend has come up quite a bit. Right now, you're looking at, I believe it's 7 cents per share. So it's more than doubled. It has more than doubled, and that's not too shabby. So it's a lot better. And I think it made the last dividend jump was maybe 6 months ago, roughly, somewhere in that vicinity. But yeah, we'll watch. And this is the thing: watch the deep dive. Maybe it'll change your mind, or maybe it won't. But just check it out. Let's see. Yeah, I looked into them too. Never pulled the trigger. Gosh. Yeah, it's one of those ones where I wish I found them 3 years ago for sure. They're up over 200%. Rory says, yeah, I looked into them too. Oh, I already did that one. Ricardo says, all I heard was that they were killing older people. This is not Bird, guys. Bird is not killing older people. We're talking about United Health. Interesting. That I don't know about the report. I just know that, we had that one little update over there, but that's not good. That's not good. You don't want to be killing older people. That's for sure. Jay says, I remember paying $30 in 4 hours in downtown Toronto by the CN Tower. I'm not doing that again. Oh, in parking. Oh, gosh. That's crazy. that is crazy. I hear you. The nice thing about Toronto, though, is quite literally, the subway system is pretty good. Like you could park somewhere outside of downtown and subway the rest. It's not bad that way, but yeah. Rory says TO and Calgary both have insane parking fees. And yeah, we're talking bird. We're talking bird. Cowboy says sold my bird last week, bought WCP. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm pretty excited now. Keep in mind, I think, and this is not just because Canada Pension Plan is like, let's start investing in infrastructure stuff. But there has been movement. Like Doug Ford has made movement in Ontario. And another thing about Bird, and I mentioned this in the video, but I'll mention it right now, is they're domestic. So most of the stuff that they source from Canada, and we're talking a high percentage. I don't have the exact number, but most of what they use is Canadian product. So they're kind of resistant to the tariffs because of that. So that's not a bad thing. That plus the whole build, that's really going to be good. They're it's almost like a perfect storm for them. So that's one of the reasons that I'm pretty excited. And one of the reasons that I was thinking about it quite literally yesterday. And I'm like, oh my God, how have I not done bird construction? And I need to do bird construction because if they explode over the next few years, and they've already exploded over the last few years, but I want to make sure I've got at least a deep dive in before whatever happens. So, yep, it's good. Funny Book says, "Oops, it's a bird." Sorry. Yep. And what can I say? Bird is the word. Here comes Rory. Bird is the word. I do actually have that in the title, Rory. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm playing on that. I'm playing on that. So yeah, bird is the word for sure. So I am absolutely loving it. All right, guys. Oh boy, this has been another great day. This has been fantastic. I'm hoping. Oh, wait a minute. What is Brian saying? I remember Bird back in the 70s. Quite big. Not Big Bird. Yeah. There actually is Big Bird news out this week as well. Netflix is now providing a whole bunch of funding to Sesame Street, which was going to lose funding through PBS. And now Sesame Street it's still going to be on PBS, but it's also going to be going on to Netflix as well. And that's keeping Big Bird from the unemployment line. So anyway, just because you mentioned Big Bird, what can I say? David says, didn't Carney drop all the retaliatory tariffs before the election? Not exactly. The second round, he put those on pause, but some of the initial ones are still in place. So that initial list, I probably, probably for the weekend, I should just see if I can pull together what tariffs are in place now, because I think it's confusing. I think people are like, what the heck? And a bird. There we go. Cowboy. Bird has to use what's spec'd on the prints. Lots of shipped in materials. Yeah, I guess in that case, yeah, maybe. But keep in mind, that's the thing. I don't have the exact numbers. I just have what I got off of their site per se. So, but yeah, no, in some cases, that's going to be where you're going to have to pull some stuff from other locations if it is spec'd on prints. Now, a lot of what they do is government contracts. They have a lot of infrastructure contracts from the government. But anyway, we'll visit that more in the video and in the comments for that video for sure. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Oh, I'm loving this. All right, so we only did one super today, so it means that our next show is going to be on Sunday. So we'll have our news show again on Sunday. Now, also coming up, we will have our quarterly bank video. That's going to be coming up soon enough because we're approaching bank earnings pretty soon. I believe most of them are towards the end of the month. So I think this coming week, we're going to start seeing bank earnings drop. And then that means the following week, we'll get, holy banana bread. It looks like we're probably going to start June off with both the 0 to 100K challenge as well as that quarterly bank video. So we'll see how the banks are doing. I can't wait. In terms of Evolve, by the way, the next video I'm going to be doing for them is going to be eBank, EBNK. It's actually pretty exciting, but I don't know yet when I'm going to get that one done. I'm still waiting from Evolve. They have they've got things that they're doing behind the scenes, and then they let me know when they're ready and when the information is all up to date for me. So hopefully soon, but it probably won't be until June. So just to keep you guys in the loop. All right. So guys, once again, another fantastic show. I will see you guys again on Sunday. Check out the bird construction video dropping tomorrow for channel members, Friday for everybody else. So until then, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you Sunday. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Oops, it didn't work. It's been a long time since we've had a failed ending, but we'll do it again. All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you Sunday. Bye-bye.